you are not a loser. You live in a world where comparison is at its all-time high, where others have opportunities of a lifetime and others have nearly no chance at all. You see, in this video, if you think I'm going to be holding your hand, telling you that it's okay to feel like a loser, that, it's a competitive world, I'm not. I'm going to be brutally explaining to you the truth of the world, that it is a competitive world, and how to get on top in a world that is constantly comparing you to other things, but also to realize and accept within yourself things that you cannot change and things that you can change, so that you can eventually become the best possible version of yourself. The first one is being a loser is relative. That's a good thing and a bad thing. Yourself comparative to a 22-year-old billionaire, well, you feel like you can't match up. You feel like you're weak. You feel like you're not that good. But yourself to a person who is homeless at an extremely old age and they still haven't caught on, or they're lacking in an extreme way, then you feel good about yourself, or you feel like, yes, you are in a far better position. This is important. This proves that value is contextual, that you need context in order to understand how valuable you are. In one room, you're just average. In another room, you're dominant. You are above average. And then in another room, you are an absolute loser. You see, when you live in a world where everything is a comparison, well, it depends on everybody else. But what are you? You are you. You need to understand this. You are you. And understanding yourself and other people is one of the most important things you can do. So before you compare yourself to other people, thinking that you are a loser, thinking that you are in a sorry state, you need to realize within yourself that, number one, being a loser comes down to comparison. How are you comparing yourself to other people? So no, you are not a loser. You are comparing yourself to other people who are greater than you. That's why you feel like you're a loser. You need to know this first. But are you underperforming relative to your own full potential? Do you look in the mirror and do you see what you truly want to become, who you truly want to become, what you truly want to do? Do you see it? So then why are you comparing yourself to other people that have chances, opportunities that you've never gotten? Why are you doing that? Why are you comparing yourself to a rich person that has grown up in a rich environment, their whole life has been taught values and things and how to gain money, such and etc.? Why are you comparing yourself? Let's say you're high and mighty. Why are you comparing yourself to people who are lower than you? Everything is relative. Everything is up for comparison. So if you feel like a loser, why are you comparing yourself to people who are so much greater than you? You need to be looking deep within yourself and realizing, what do you want, where do you want to be, and how do you want to achieve said things at a certain time, such and etc. The second one is the world is competitive, even if it pretends not to be. You see, people will say, there's no rush, take your time, just, go at your own pace. This is nice, this is emotionally comforting, but the truth doesn't give a fuck about that. You see, rent will always be due on the first. You see, your job was a competition. You had to fight for your job. Whoever had the best qualifications got the job. Attraction between partners is competitive. Who has the best looks, the nice physique, the most money? This is a competition. The world is filled with competition. So to say, take your time, do this and that, well, then you're going to be left behind. So remember, it is a dog-eat-dog world. So if you choose to be comfortable, if you choose to be a rabbit, you don't get the right to complain when you get devoured by someone who chose to be a wolf. Never forget that. If you choose to be weak, if you choose to be a loser, if you accept it on the chin, never forget that everybody was once weak. It is a choice to be strong. It is a choice to be a loser, and it is a choice to become something more. So no, you're not a loser, because it is a matter of comparison. You are the strongest among all ants. Isn't that the truth? You are the strongest among all the germs, among all the rats, all the cats, all the dogs. But to humans, you're probably not the strongest. To elephants, you are most definitely the weakest. And to aliens who can, blow up planets, you are definitely the weakest. So never forget that, yes, it is comparison. No, technically you're not a loser, but never forget that life, this world, will always be competitive. The third one is weakness is a choice after awareness. You see, when you're aware of your own weakness, when you realize your position that you're in, necessarily if you're a loser or a winner, that does not matter. The awareness within yourself, what position am I in? What are my assets? What are my liabilities? This is your absolute advantage. So remember, everyone starts somewhere, whether that's here or there. But what matters is that you are aware of where you are. Where are you in the hierarchy of business? Where are you in the hierarchy of wanting your goals? Remember, comparison is important, but you need to be aware of where you are. Now, that makes you a loser in some circles and a winner in others. Never forget this. To be aware of where you are, what you want to do, where other people are, and where they are is the most important thing you could ever do. Awareness is everything. Number 4 is the modern day trap. You see, you were told to go to college. After college, then get a degree. After a degree, then get a stable job, make 6 figures, then buy a property, then retire comfortably. But is that the reality of the world right now? I'm not even going to talk about the housing market or how basically, you need to be thinking and aware of all these options. Let's break it down. So when you go into college, well, then the debt to go to college is extremely high. The cost of living is insane right now. Trying to find a job is incredibly hard. Trying to find a good, stable job that pays you well for the degree that you have is extremely hard right now. This is the truth of the world. That was the blueprint, right? Go to college, get a degree, find a good job, get paid 6 figures, you buy a property, then retire and then die, right? But that is not the case anymore. It is getting harder and harder and harder. So to compare to, for instance, other people who lived like 50, 80 years ago is completely different from now. So then you scroll on social media and you see 22-year-old millionaires, young entrepreneurs, people who are making millions on content creation, just sitting there and, oh yeah, L's in the chat, and they're getting paid crazy amounts of money. You're seeing, kids buy cryptocurrency and make, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars off of, Doja Duty meme coins or whatever. It is incredible. So never forget the trap that was made for you, that, when you go to college, you are slammed with debt. Then after that, you are literally made to work, correct, until a certain amount of time. Now, this thing could be okay if it's meaningful to you, then it's good, right? But if it's not meaningful to you, if you feel soulless, if you feel like, there has to be other options, you will find it. But never forget this trap. And this trap is made to compare and to go forward, right? This, way of living, right, is made to be a blueprint for those who need to go through life or want to go through life successfully, but that's not the case now. So when you scroll and you see people that are just simply better than you in nearly every way, it has no choice but to make you insecure about yourself. This is the sad truth. Who cares if this person had infinitely more opportunities than you and just a lucky charm, such and etc. You will still compare yourself to this random person that you will probably never meet, because that is what humans do. That's what you do. That's what everybody does. So just be wary of this modern day trap of telling you what it takes to be successful, do this, then do that, then do this, and especially in a world where that's not the case anymore. There are other ways to make money. There's other ways to make value and trade it for money. There's other ways to live your life fruitfully instead of just doing the random, you already know what I'm going to say, correct? Right. Number 5 is being nice and being capable are not the same thing. You see, you were taught to be nice and kind, and that's good, right? But what did that get you? I'm asking you a question. What did that get you? Well, you weren't looking for anything, were you? You were just being nice and kind. That is what it is, right? That is what it is to be nice and kind. You look out for others, you help others, but how did you help yourself? Now you're in a position to where no one's helping you. You are in a helpless state and you don't know what to do. You feel like a loser. Wow. Well, isn't that interesting? So if you maybe would have put yourself first, if you maybe would have put your own priorities, if you were capable of something, if you thought about results more than what other people thought of you, if you were a nice person. Now, does this mean, don't be nice, only think about, your own gains, such and etc.? I am here to teach you about gaining power. Your coffin is only room for one, but people grow as a society when everybody does their best and helps other people, right? You're helping people and you're doing all this and that. Where are they now? Let me be brutally honest. Where are they now? Are they helping you with your situation? Let's say they're helping you. Are they helping you with your bills? Are you helping you with things that are truly important? Probably not. So maybe you need to put yourself first. Maybe you need to put your own results and priorities first. Now, maybe that's selfish, but there is a successful you that put themselves first and they don't have to feel what you're feeling right now. So all I'm saying is there's a difference between being nice and being capable, choosing results over, kindness. And it's not like you can't do both, but just know that distinction. Number 6 is gaining power. Power is responsibility, not necessarily ego. You see, so many people want to pursue it as power is a bad thing. Power is nearly and literally everything in this world. Is gaining power a bad thing? Of course it's not. Nearly everything that I'm going to be talking about is how to make yourself the most powerful person that you can become. So no, power is not a bad thing. So choosing power, choosing to have control and power over your finances, power over your life, power over your decisions, power over other people is incredibly important in this life, and it will always be. And in other worlds, if they exist, power is the number one thing as well. But never forget that power starts from within. It starts from within you. So what you believe, your values, your principles is what leads you to a more powerful state than what you are currently. But I'm making this point because you think if you chose power, you'd feel like a loser? You think if you chose yourself, your own priorities, everything that you've ever wanted, you think you'd feel like shit? You think you'd feel like you're not good enough? Of course you wouldn't. You'd feel great. That's why I'm making this point. If you were to choose power, your own self-interests, such and etc., and I'm not talking about, screw over everyone. I'm talking about you need to choose something that's truly powerful, something that gains you wealth, power, status, all of these things. Then you wouldn't be in the position that you're currently in. You wouldn't feel like a loser. And everybody knows this. Everybody who didn't have power, remember, everybody's been a loser, right? Everybody was once weak. But it's your decision, your choice to stay weak, to stay being a loser. Never forget that. If Michael Jordan stopped basketball after a loss, then he's a loser. If Elon Musk gave up on his rocket that blew up for the 5th time, then he's a loser. If Alexander the Great stopped conquering because, his army failed and, everything died and he had a loss, then he was a loser. If Albert Einstein gave up, he thought, this equation is way too hard, I'm not going to try to figure this out anymore, then he's a loser. But they're not losers, are they? They're one of the most extremely successful, well-endowed people, I mean, that's just some of the people off the top of the head. You need to know that these people, they lost. They lost miserably sometimes. Sometimes they're even in a worse position than you. And then they eventually won. They won because they never gave up. Never forget, a loser is a loser because he gave up. And a winner is a winner because he lost and he never gave up. The last point is that you're not a loser. This is the truth. You are just early. You see, you're early. If you feel like a loser, let me give you a congratulations, right? I should have said this at the beginning of the video. Congratulations. No joke. Congratulations that you feel like a loser. You know why? Because at least you feel like a loser. At least you feel like a failure. What am I saying? What am I saying? I'll tell you. At least you feel like you're not good enough, because there are people in your same position and they're happy with it. There are people that are in a low state and they are completely happy with where they are right there with you. Isn't that crazy? You feel like a loser because you know that you're worth more. You're destined to be more, become more. You're just early. You should feel happy, funny enough, that you feel like a loser, because at least you feel that way, because you know you're destined for more and greater things. Isn't that funny? So I applaud you for feeling like that you're a loser, because that's how you know that you feel like you're supposed to be more. If you didn't feel like shit, if you didn't feel like a loser, if you didn't feel like you're not good enough, then you just be the same. You wouldn't go anywhere, would you? You see, that feeling that you're not good enough means that you know that you should be more. And that feeling in general means that you are destined to do great things only if you use actions and do the most you can in order to succeed. Never forget, there are a lot of people that ended up just like you, but they gave up. So feel that feeling deep within your chest, that feeling of inadequacy, that feeling of you're not good enough. Feel that deep within yourself and be happy, because that's how you know you're meant to do truly great things. That's how you know that your standard of being great is not like everyone else, that you are truly meant to do things that are powerful, that are truly amazing for this world. Never forget that power is within yourself. It's sitting in there waiting for you to use it. You're not a loser. And of course, remember to gain power.